How you guys doing? This is a very serious thing of facts. My DNA is on record. My identity is documented. And in reference to the people that are confusing the information, those people have to be out of their government offices, out of their position. And, these people are caught red-handed all the time. So in reference to the process of eliminating the problem and the crimes of which people are trying to steal everything from me and my mother and father's estates, the process of asking people who claims to be in control of that location. Who's this person? Who's that person? Where'd they come from? Who are they working for? What are they trying to do? Which people are blocking me from my mother and father's mansions? Find out the names, find out the reasons, find out who they are. Nothing is justified. These people are trying to play this redirecting of the facts, redirecting of the information of who's causing the problem, who's blocking me from my money, who's blocking me from my mother and father's estates, who kidnapped me from my mother and father's mansions, who's confusing my identity. They got to put gag orders on people. They got to go from point A to point B each and every way. They got to find out which person's holding on to money, which person's holding on to documents, which person faked information, which people faked documents, which people misrepresented the facts, which people are stealing monies that people had sent to me, which people are stealing my money from social media. Find out the location, find out where things went, find out how to track things, or find out what location was supposed to track things, such as people stealing the postal mail, people stealing gifts that I was supposed to have received on the holidays. Like the executives, some of them was possibly supposed to buy me gifts every Christmas or something. There's like maybe a Christmas list of people that said they would buy me a gift on Christmas that work at the companies. Just for, it's not, it doesn't mean it's as expensive or anything, but there's certain guidelines of certain executives or certain positions of the companies, which are just like consolation gifts or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's what somebody wanted me to mention. But in reference to like certain things, like priorities, like in reference to them sending something in the postal mail and it not arriving, meaning it's kind of like a postal connection, like somebody trying to send something, like something simple, and then it did not arrive. And then they're supposed to track that to find out who stole it. There's a process of all kinds of different things. It's not a trick. It's just a preliminary activity of sending something in the postal mail and finding out where it ended up. You understand what I'm talking about? Or birthday gifts. Like there's documents that the Treasury or the or certain offices was supposed to send me certain things on certain holidays or on my birthday, my real birthday, my mother and father's birthdays, or in reference to the White House was supposed to send money every year in reference to the murder of my father, because the government was involved in the murder of my father. And it's kind of like, there's just things that are not being done that was supposed to be done. Processes of arresting people, processes of finding out who the cause is, which people are blocking me from my mother and father's mansions. What's the exact name? What's the office that's doing it? Why are they doing it? Was they trying to buy things? It's not for sale. Can't sell nothing. And it's protected by American historic laws and European historic laws. It's protected by French law, Italian law, England law. It's protected by American law. So who's trying to steal everything? Same thing with benefits. I still have an injured shoulder. Who's blocking that? Who blocked me from the lawsuit monies? Who tried to fludge the information? Or who tried to flub up the information? Who tried to play this trick? Who tried to play the misrepresentation of facts? Who was sitting there trying to play confusion games? What's the name of the person? What's the location? Where'd they come from? Who are they? Who are they working for? Find out who they are. Submit the information to the courts. My parents had it on record where I'm supposed to be at certain months of the year. They'll say, well, this government man had a different opinion. We want to know why you had a different opinion. You're not my parents. You don't own the property. You're not any boss of my parents. You're not the owner of the companies of my mother and father. You're not the owner of nothing. That means you're involved in criminal communism. Your activity of trying to make demands or trying to rip me off means you made orders that are illegal based on your position of government, because government does not have any status above a state law. I'm the owner of my mother and father's estates forever, no matter what. It's protected by historic laws, too. So anybody trying to intervene with the facts of my ownership, they get prosecuted and sued every time. I'm the owner of my mother and father's estates. I'm the only child of my mother and father. Who are you? Is what they have to ask people. You got to go from point A to point B. You say, okay, this office seems to be stealing things. They'll say, no, it's not their office, it's another office. Okay, where's that other office at? You got to do the footwork. Get the information. But when it shows up in court, they say, okay, this is what we got. This person's doing this. This person's doing that. This person said that they weren't the ones stealing the postal mail, but then they got evidence that that person was in the post office stealing the postal mail. Or they'll say this person was stealing credit cards or accounts or information. Who are they? Then they'll say, well, they thought child support. No, the Royal Protocol says it's a prenup. I'm not married to none of these people that stole sperm. I'm not married to any of these girls. And I don't date guys. So, in reference to these people that have done these things, finding out what race they are, finding out what religion they are, finding out where they came from, checking their ethics, checking their history of what they have done, checking how long this has been going on, checking the type of activities, looking at the information of how many times. That's not in reference to checks of money, but it's like investigating who's doing what. Where did they do this at? Why did they do this there? Because they were trying to steal genetics. They were trying to defraud me. They were trying to hurt me. They were trying to steal my identity. Okay, these people, those people. Okay, why aren't those people in jail? Why aren't these people in jail? Why aren't these people going to prison? Why haven't they had a court case about these people or that person? It's kind of like procedures are not being followed. So then they got to go, okay, you've been in that position for how many years? You got to go. The amount of money that they're trying to steal, the amount of time, the types of abuses is priority court cases. Everything is first priority. Do you understand that? Against these people. This has been going on for over 30 years. These people, they've never arrested or caught the people that murdered my parents. But then I've been kidnapped and held hostage several fucking times. I've been physically assaulted. These government people had raped me. Medical people had raped me. Or physically assaulted me or sexually assaulted me. Why aren't those people in jail? Why aren't those people in prison? The fact of this satellite man hitting me in the face and teeth is what they have done. It's physical assault. Why isn't there charges against those people? Why aren't those people arrested? How come people don't know who's doing it? Because they didn't want people to know or something? Well, that's a violation of laws. How come they haven't done stories of who I am and who my parents are in the media? Have not even seen one. Not even one. Can't even find one on the internet either. People in the news networks got to be fired. They're obviously working for the people that are covering up my identity. I have priority status in the media. I have seniority in the media. My father and mother had seniority in the media. So then you think about, wow, this is a big problem. They must have brought in an army of manipulators and thieves and liars. Find out the office. They say one bad apple spoils the whole barrel or something. I don't know. But, these people, whatever they're trying to do, find out what office it is. They declare it a office of conspiring, and then they have to go to another office. And that office has to be shut down or reorganized. This has been going on for over 30 years. This is a long time. They're still hitting me in the face and teeth. They're illegal spying. That means somebody is sitting in a chair or standing up in a satellite control room, pushing a button, aiming a satellite at my face. They're all man-controlled satellites. Do you understand that? There's no device that they can put on a person's body for like a tracking device like that. Because a person's body movements are so different. I mean, they are able to aim a satellite at a certain height, at a certain level, and then it burns at that level. And that causes wherever that person's height, whatever that person's height is, or whatever part that body part is, they'll be hitting that part. But either way, they're all man controlled. That means somebody had set it to do that. So don't let them make up lies and shit games. Those satellite controllers and their people have to get prosecuted for their lies. And they have to get charged for the history and their lies and their disrupting of my life and what I'm supposed to be doing, what my parents wanted me to be doing, not what these people wanted. My parents had it on record I'm supposed to be at certain mansions. None of the mansions are ever for sale. None of the properties are ever for sale. My mother and father's mansions are personal residences. They're not timeshares. I am the owner. Nothing is timeshare. Not of any of my mother or father's personal residences, no. Or my grandparents' personal residences. So, and neither is mine. So in reference to me having property that my parents had for me, that's not timeshare either. And if somebody say, well, these people said they had children. You ain't never seen me with those people. You don't see me hanging out with those people. You don't see me socializing with those people. You don't see those people calling me. You don't see me hanging out or going to dinner or lunch with any of those people. No. Those are genetic thieves. Those are sperm thieves. Those are conspirators. Those are gold-digging people. Those are thieves, murderers, people that are trying to do these types of things. Then somebody say, well, this person says this person. Well, get it on the record what people got to say. The point of information is I was supposed to be at my mother and father's mansions. How many administrations have been in office since then? How many government people have sat there and said they didn't know what to say? If they're not pointing out exactly what the problem is after 30 years and who the fuck is doing it, then that means they're the fucking ones doing it if they're in those government offices. Because if they don't have the information, they've been wasting time and hurting people and allowing people to get hurt by these thieves and liars. The tricks of what they have tried to play, stealing from me and holding me hostage and blocking me from my mother and father's mansions, and then blocking me from my trust funds or lawsuit monies from the abuses. These people thought after they physically assaulted me or they tried to rape me or they raped me and physically abused me, they thought they'd try to call somebody crazy. When the act of the violence, the act of the crime, the act of the physical assault is documented, time and date. That's not going to change the fact of their actions. And these people tried to change their identities in government offices, and they tried to use fake identities and fake names for all kinds of shit. Them changing their identity does not change the fact that they're illegally in possession of monies, or the fact that they're illegally in possession of property keys, or they're factually violating history of what the documents had said of where I'm supposed to be. The standard information that my parents had reference the standard of living, of which my parents afforded for me. And my history of working in the entertainment industry or working in business or working in making inventions or whatever. So in reference to the tricks of these people, tracking down the ones doing it, finding out their location, finding out who they are, arresting them, bringing them into court, asking them why they're in possession of monies that I was supposed to receive. Then they'll say probably, oh, they thought they were you. No, you're not. You're German. Or you're German Middle Eastern. Or you're the black German guy. No, you're not me. I'm not German at all in any way. My parents weren't German either. So if you're this German government man claiming you thought you were me, then you got a psychological problem claiming you thought you were me. And you need to get prosecuted and you need to go to prison. Changing your identity is not going to change the fact that you're illegally in possession of monies or property that you stole or gifts or holiday gifts or postcards or letters or anything financial. You trying to confuse people is not going to make a difference because they're looking for possession. Who is in possession? You'll say, oh, that's this person over there. No, it's this person over there. And then they're like, okay, wait a minute. You're in possession of this money. They delivered money to that office. Or they had court cases. The courts are in possession of money. Attorneys might be in possession of monies. There might be Hollywood celebrities that are in possession of monies that I was supposed to have received. There's a list of celebrities that are probably holding on to monies. Or maybe they're not. There's a list. My mother had a list of which people she asked them to deliver monies to me. And nobody ever delivered nothing. So that list needs to get submitted into court. They need to ask people what they were supposed to do. Because it's written on the list. My mother had contracts with people. People need to explain what the problem is. If it's not a sufficient excuse, which it's probably not going to be in most instances, or there might be an excuse. But in reference to this destitute situation, I'm supposed to be at my mother and father's mansions. Why is everybody else able to live in houses in the same neighborhood of where my mother and father had mansions where I'm supposed to be? Because somebody said, oh, they didn't like your property lines. It doesn't work that way. Property lines are property lines. That means they're trying to steal the neighborhood. That means they probably got a bunch of people in that neighborhood that are ripping off rental properties of my mother and father. Or these people that are holding me hostage, slandering my character. They're making up false accusations, trying to put debts on me, trying to play their busy game of blocking me from getting home to my mother and father's mansions, of which I got kidnapped from. Then they got people trying to switch information. They're still hitting me in the teeth. How come the government hasn't stopped that person? Government people need to get fired from their position. They're still hitting me in the teeth. I hate to tell you, man, that is just disgusting. You're violating the history of my teeth. You're violating the history of my anatomy because of the psycho shit you got in your fucking brain. The problem, government man, you don't have a right physically assaulting people with invisible technology or a concealed satellite, which you're hiding the information. You're concealing the evidence of your actions and your agents physically assaulting and mutilating another person's body parts. Even when there's protection laws in reference to that person's identity, says do not damage anything, you're going to have to get charged and face the death penalty for what you have done, no fucking matter what. The severity of the abuse, the activity of you causing damage, causing slander, causing people to make false premonitions or false accusations or false opinions based on what you have done, you can get the death penalty for endangering my life, even after my parents had records and protection documents, and the fact of your people doing these things shows that your people intentionally did these things. You're intentionally hitting me in the teeth and face. There's somebody sitting in a satellite control room doing it at this exact time. Alexa, what time is it? Well, it's 10:22. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 10:22 p.m.
Alexa, what's the date?
Today is Tuesday, October 10th.
Alexa, what time is it?
It's 10:22 p.m.
I had to turn it up, so I don't know if you could hear. So in reference to the government, all these politicians talking shit, saying they didn't know shit was going on, they have to get indicted for their crimes of covering it up. My parents was historic people in America. No matter how little the politician is, no matter how big the politician is, the crimes of these satellite controllers is illegal, and it's a violation of law. And it does cause damage. It does make a person look like shit. It violates a person's personal life. It violates their social life. It violates their personal presentation of their identity. And then people try to play their confusion game. with all the accusations and thoughts that somebody would think of based on what historically people have made up shit about in reference to their ways of covering up satellite technology and the abuses. So those government agents have to get prosecuted for their crimes and what they have done. All their actions is intentional and is a violation of the Constitution. They're trying to claim they're searching people's mouths, fucking up people's teeth. No, that's not a legal activity for you to even claim you were preliminarily trying to search the inside of a person's mouth by mutilating their teeth. You get the death penalty, satellite man. That is a crime of mutilation, and they need to know what race and religion you are, and you can get the death penalty.